Alrighty, welcome to
Weird
Shit Wednesday on location.
We are in the woods.
We are in the wild. We are out and about, surrounded by nature. AKA it is girls camping weekend, and we are recording at the picnic table while the lovely Victoria is building us a fire.
Yes.
She is the MVP right now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're gonna do this a little weird, a little wild.
You know, it's on point. We just had a weird and wild little trip down the river.
We did.
So,
a tad chilly,
yes,
but fun.
We had a couple spots of sunlight, a wild game of Cheers to the Governor, and
lots of Jello shots.
And lots of Jello shots.
Probably too many Jello shots.
It's okay. We're sober up now.
For now.
But we'll get weird later.
We'll get weird.
But we're gonna get spooky weird
first. Yes. And then we'll see what the night brings.
Exactly.
Beautiful. All right. Shall we dive right in?
Let's do it.
Who wants to go first?
I can go first. I decided to keep mine kind of short and sweet because I know you have a novel.
Well, you know, I am an overachiever at heart, so that is what we do.
Far be it from me to cramp your creative style. I'm literally staring at a 1/4 of an inch stack of papers that are for Kelly's stories alone. So knowing that she had a lot.
To be fair, I have 2 bonuses. So this
That's
isn't just my normal stuff. I have a bonus article that's an update from an update from a previous episode.
Okay, so
and then I have
to stick around
because the Annabelle saga continues. But I also have a wild personal story to share this episode, which I will save for the very end.
Oh boy!
All right, creature my feature, girl.
Alrighty, we are actually doing a little throwback.
Ooh.
A bit to our OG #1 episode.
We are nearing that 1-year mark. This is episode 11.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
We're almost a year old.
We're almost a year old.
Oh my gosh, we're going to be saying our first words here soon.
We're almost walking.
We're almost walking.
Gotta walk before you can run.
Exactly. So, as we know, I did the infamous Cressy, the Great Lakes mythical sea monster that lived there, which I touched base on one of its origins being from the Ojibwe indigenous tribes of the area. So I decided, hey, let's revisit that, but let's get into the Ojibwe side of the folklore and mythology behind it. So we're getting a little bit more into the cultural significance and connections.
Well, that's awesome, because where we are currently staying is the campground we're at. Actually, there's a significant amount of Native American land around this area. Mm-hmm. I mean, technically it was all Native American land at one point, but
exactly.
There's a very large indigenous population that lives around here. So that's pretty cool that we're kind of on par with what we're doing.
Yeah. So we're bringing it back to Cressy.
Mm-hmm.
However, this time they are known as the Meshapishu.
I think I've heard that term before somewhere.
Yes. I probably mentioned
in our OG recording.
I mentioned it very briefly when talking about Cressy and her Ojibwe ties. So the Meshapishu is also known as the underwater panther. It's a powerful and fearsome water spirit in Ojibwe mythology. It's often depicted as a hybrid creature with the body of a panther, scales of a dragon, and sometimes serpent-like features.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a weird little hybrid of like cat and dragon, and like
that fits you well.
This is something I would probably have as a pet if I was like a
you'd boop the snoot.
Oh yeah, on a scale of 0 to 10, this is a 9 on the boop the snoot scale for me. Like I want to boop this snoot.
The serpentine aspect maybe knocks it to an 8 for me because I don't love snakes. Mm-hmm. But the rest of it, yeah, I'm here for it.
I love all things reptiles and feline, so this is a great combo for me.
She's holding a weighted lizard toy right now.
Lizard.
That we found in the gift shop.
Lizard.
Because lizard.
I love it. Love it so much. The Meshapishu is both beautiful and terrifying.
Ooh. And
it embodies the mysterious and unpredictable nature of water itself. As most of the most significant beings in the spiritual traditions of the Ojibwe people, Meshapishu represents a force that can both sustain and destroy life, which is very on par for Lake Superior, which is one of the largest bodies of water
Right.
in the Ojibwe territory, where
and one of the largest bodies of fresh water in the entire world.
Exactly. It sustains like the most drinking water to like the largest number of population that I can think of. I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head, but it's a lot.
That's awesome.
But also, Lake Superior has claimed
She's
many,
claimed
many
a lot of
lives.
bodies, and she doesn't give them back.
She does not. Lake
she
Superior
keeps her dead.
Doesn't give up her dead. In Ojibwe cosmology, the Meshipishu is considered the master of all water creatures. It's kind of like the top dog.
Cool.
Ruling over lakes, rivers, and other bodies of water. With a sleek, feminine body covered in shimmering scales, a long tail, and sometimes horns, the spirit is described as powerful and elusive, moving swiftly beneath the water's surface. Meshipishu is said to be a guardian of the water's riches, such as copper, which was highly prized by the Ojibwe. The creature's role as both protector and avenger underscores its complex character, capable of bestowing blessings upon the worthy, but also unleashing floods and storms upon those that disrespect its domain.
All right.
We've got some deep ties to Minnesota, my home state. I know you got some beef, but yeah.
I mean, as much as I, love to think of myself as a true Wisconsinite, Minnesota does some things a lot better than Wisconsin. So I'm going to give them credit where credit's due. Although we are currently in Wisconsin.
Yes.
We're camping.
We can't speak too ill of where we currently are.
This part's pretty.
This part's nice. Yeah, so connection to Minnesota, Meshipishu is believed to dwell in the Great Lakes region, as I mentioned before, with Lake Superior. So, including the depths of Lake Superior. It's where it's said to guard sacred underwater realms.
Cool.
The Ojibwe, whose traditional lands encompass Minnesota and surrounding states, have long held Lake Superior as a spiritually significant body of water.
Mm-hmm.
Legends recount sightings of Meshipishu's dark, sinuous form gliding beneath the waves, its presence a reminder of both the majesty and danger of the Great Lakes. It's said that Meshipishu's roar can be heard during storms, and that sudden squalls and shipwrecks are attributed to the spirit's anger or a warning. So Meshipishu might have had something to do behind Edmund Fitzgerald. They probably were overfishing or something.
Something. They were doing something. They shouldn't have. Someone was misbehaving.
Dun, dun, dun.
Naughty.
Don't mess with Meshipishu. Meshipishu does represent the dual nature of water as both life-giving and destructive, a force that can nourish crops, provide sustenance, and serve as a means of travel, but also unleash deadly storms and floods. In this way, Meshipishu embodies the balance of creation and destruction, serving as both protector and of the water's sacredness and a reminder of its potential peril. To the Ojibwe, Meshipishu is not simply a monster, but a spiritual being deserving of respect and reverence.
Yeah, as it should.
We love a queen that keeps us.
Very on par for Lake Superior again. Like, that is a very large lake, and if you are not careful, you can get yourself in some serious trouble pretty easily. There's a lot of undertow. There's, when the waves get out of control, it's bad. So you gotta be respectful of her.
It is literally an in-ground ocean.
Yeah.
Like
it has its own wave generation.
I think that's one of the number one things I see when I go for hiking trips along the shore is that there's lots of signs saying respect the water, know your limits, know your risks, things. Saying this is an unlifeguarded area, this is not safe for swimming in these conditions, and that go at your own risk. So you gotta respect the water. Yeah.
As a Pisces, I always respect the water.
Yes.
And I have been well watered today.
Yes. As a Cancer, I have been also well watered. But I'm happy to be back on land.
Agreed. And warm, most importantly.
And warm. We were a little chilly out there today.
Little bit crispy.
So Meshipishu's powerful image is deeply embedded in Ojibwe art, stories, and ceremonies. It appears in petroglyphs, birch bark, scrolls, and beadwork, and is often depicted as a large cat with fantastical features. During ceremonial rituals, offerings are sometimes made to appease Meshipishu, and ensure safe passage over the water. The spirit's influence extends to legends and tales shared among generations, where Machu Picchu is both a moral figure teaching respect for nature and a symbol of the wild, untamed essence of Minnesota's waters. Whether seen as a guardian, monster, or divine force, Machu Picchu remains a central figure in the lore of the Great Lakes, embodying both beauty and danger of the vast, mysterious waters that define the region.
I love that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So nice little fun little ties back to
A little throwback.
Exactly.
A little throwback. I love that. And just a cool creature. Like,
yeah.
Sounds kind of majestic. I like it.
Yes.
I'm here for it.
Would boop the snoot.
Would boop the snoot. Yeah, 100%.
You keep doing your group. Now, do we think she is a Pisces, a Cancer, or an Aquarius?
I'm going to say Pisces. Majestic.
Mm-hmm.
Mercurial.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you treat her well, you'll do well.
Yeah.
But if you piss her off, watch the fuck out. That feels very Pisces to me.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
Specifically March Pisces.
Ooh,
because there's a difference between a February Pisces and a March Pisces.
That's true. This is true. Very different personality traits.
Yes.
Come out.
Yes.
Alrighty. Machu Picchu, you're a Pisces. You've been dubbed.
I like it. Well, we will not be booping the snoot, I don't think, of my creature, unfortunately. Yes. So for I was able to connect our card to, I think, most of my stuff this time, because I did not do a very good job of that last time. So if you don't remember or weren't listening to the last podcast episode, first, shame on you, go listen to it right now. But we pulled the Fool. And so the card, the Fool, is often linked to this idea of like innocence or naivety or things like that. And so I kind of went down that road for my creature, but with a twist. So most of us grew up believing in many mythological creatures. You know, you hear stories as a little kid. And I'm sure at some point, nearly every child has lost some tooth and left a bicuspid or two under a pillow in hopes a winged creature will sneak into their room while they sleep, take their tooth, and leave behind a token or gift.
My mom, well, okay, knowing now that it was my mom, but when I was a kid, there was a time where I left a tooth under my pillow and I got a full-ass VHS tape from the Tooth Fairy.
I had some problematic teeth when I was little, and I had a tooth that had to be capped, and the cap fell out 3 times and like was a lot of pain, and it was a whole like month-long procedure.
Dang.
So when I lost that tooth, I got $20.
I would hope so. Dang.
Yeah. It was an unpleasant experience, and I still don't love dentists to this day because of it.
Valid.
And then we found out the third time we went to a different dentist, the first 2 times was using the wrong adhesive.
Oh.
So that's why I kept falling out.
That would do it.
Yeah, I didn't love dentists. I apparently bit the dentist. I was like a year and a half. I don't remember this, but I've been told that I bit the dentist. And
so that's where your biting comes from.
I guess so. I've always been a biter, I guess. Watch out.
Watch out.
Regardless of the price of the tooth, Tooth Fairy traditions date back as far as medieval Europe, though the exchange of Tooth Fairy money is a little bit more modern approach. It was previously treats or fruits or gifts of some sort. When I was a child, I looked forward to the arrival of this mythic tooth collector. However, as an adult, I've often found the concept a little bit creepy.
Yes.
The idea of a strange creature sneaking into the rooms of children at night and stealing their teeth is slightly unnerving at best. There have been many adaptations of evil tooth fairies, including the origin story of one of Supernatural's most endearing hunters, Garth Fitzgerald IV. But what if I told you this already creepy creature has a bigger, badder, more terrifying relative?
Oh, lovely. It's like a scary uncle.
And that's what we're going to talk about. We are going to talk about bone fairies.
Oh, what?
A bone fairy, in some fictional contexts, is a creature depicted as a more sinister or aggressive relative to the tooth fairy. Instead of collecting baby teeth, bone fairies are believed to collect bones in general, like all bones. Sometimes they will only collect like animal bones or like leftover bones from like deceased creatures, but they have from time to time been known to take human bones.
What?
Yep.
No, thank you.
They're often depicted as an evil counterpart to our winged creatures of toothy lore. And they are associated with the concept of bones, death, and malevolent actions, and often portrayed as collectors or scavengers. And in some interpretations of the lore, can even cause harm to obtain their treasures.
Oh, lovely.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I like that bone. I'm going to do whatever I want to get that
chomp,
bone.
Chomp, motherfucker.
Mine.
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 It's like a dog with a bone. But this is not as cute as a dog. I'll show you a picture here in a little bit. So there is a couple different realms where bone fairies are believed to exist as far as like literature and lore. The first is D&D. Okay. And I do have a D&D sheet for you. So I'm just adding to the chaos of your campaigns. You can pass it along to Kane.
Yes, he said thank you for those.
According to the D&D lore, this fae is malevolent. Where the tooth fairy acts of its own accord to give money to children, the bone fairies offered gold to tear the limbs from the unfortunate souls.
You know, I could see like someone hiring this creature as like, hey, so and so really pissed me off, or hey, so and so
go rip their arm off,
like go, like as a bounty hunter.
Yeah, kind of. Yes, way. They're like a really creepy ass bounty hunter, for sure. Once tooth fairies themselves, greed overtook the bone fairies. They've questioned why they should share their gold or their money with anyone. That thinking engraved itself into them, twisting their very core and altering their powers. Now they make humans kneel before them and offer them more than precious gold. In exchange, they will rip and tear without a second thought, point them to a target and watch the carnage and pray you're not next on the list.
It's spooky.
Yes. The other place that you will find bone fairies or bone fae in this situation is the Witcher universe.
Okay.
They are described as human-sized cousins to the tooth fairies that go through nature rather than civilization, collecting the bones of fallen animals and humans, as well as from bone piles outside of cities and towns where they discard deceased creatures. They're primarily nocturnal, so it has become common knowledge to dispose of bones outside of dwelling places before the sun goes down. Otherwise, a bone fae might be attracted by the smell of the bones, leading to unnecessary casualties. Mm-hmm. Most other races of these type of fae are similar to barbarians, and they are battle fanatics and assassins, as well as known for other unscrupulous actions. They are said to be approximately the same size as a human, with ivory or bone white skin and some gray scaly parts around their arms, necks, and legs. They're easily discernible as a fae creature. Under their mask, their eyes have 0 pupils and reflect silver in color. Their jaws are saw-like and their teeth protrude similar to a crocodile. They tend to wear masks and armor crafted from the bones that they have collected, shoulder armor made from various monster bones, and arm braces crafted from the ulna and radii of humans.
Oh.
And they have a lovely description here of all of their abilities.
Oh boy.
So, bone fae are able to control their entire structure, meaning their bones and the bones attached to their body with a simple thought. They can use the bones they collect to form armor that they can control telekinetically and shift over their body at will. Ooh. They have the power to consume the bones of their target. They can heal themselves quickly by consuming bones. They can use the bones they collect as a food source or to magically shape them into weapons. They have the power to solidify bones into a tangible form. They are able to control aspects of an osteokinetic structure. They can make their own bones extremely light, allowing them to move faster than expected. They are able to control their bones and make them stronger as well. So if they're in battle, they can reinforce their own bones.
Like this guy has too many buffs. They need to nerf him.
Yeah. And they use the bones, like I said, as weapons. So, like I said, they're a nocturnal species, so they have good sight at night and can see for approximately 2 meters in any direction in the dark. They have an excellent sense of smell, especially being drawn to exposed bone or calcium, and are attracted to the smell of it. And have slightly better than average human hearing as well, due to their fae bloodline. Yes. They will use their bones to grind for building, medicine, or even fashion in their circles, and are obsessed with bones in comparison to like a dragon's need to hoard things. Is kind of how they approach
like it's just become an obsession.
Yes, they've become obsession. They're generally, unless they're hired, they are not aggressive per se, unless provoked. So if you kind of leave them be, they'll leave you be kind of thing. But if you poke at them or try to touch their stuff, they're going to eat you.
Yeah, because they're territorial. They're like, no, my bone.
Yes. And I found a bonus story to go along with this.
Ooh.
So this story was called The Bone Fairy, and it's written by S.M. Saves. And it's just kind of a short little creepy, creepy bedtime ghost story, which I thought was perfect for sitting around the campfire.
Lovely.
So, a bone fairy is born when you deny a tooth fairy your teeth. Bones are incredibly valuable to the fairies, teeth most of all, with the wisdom teeth being the most sought after. We made a deal with the fairies long ago to give them our teeth as we lose them so they would leave our other bones alone. Not leaving your teeth under your pillow at night makes a tooth fairy angry. That fury reshapes their delicate hands into sabers, replaces their wings with spines. She has empty sockets. Eyes do her no good because all she sees is bone. When you hear her haunting tune, you'll know she's coming for you. So place your teeth under your pillow. No need to wash them. The dried blood is an extra treat and will put you in good favor with your tooth fairy. She may even leave you an extra $50 under your pillow.
Oh, lovely.
This story's stupid, my charge complains, sticking his tongue through the gap left by his missing front teeth. I told you, not a good storyteller, but you demanded a story. Now you want to complain? Yeah, he says, but you didn't say you were going to suck at it. Are you going to put your teeth under your pillow or not? I ask, not used to being heckled by a 6-year-old. He takes them from the nightstand in his fist. I imagine him throwing them at me, but instead, he swallows them.
Oh, no.
Tooth fairies hate sifting through poop for teeth, I tell him. You know what I think. He leans to one side and farts. Well, goodbye then. I leave the door open and turn off the light. Night, fart face, he laughs. I can imagine this child.
Yep. I'm like,
Yep.
It's reminding me of a particular child
Mhm.
that you and I have both had experiences with.
Yep.
One that I'm surprised didn't give me the moniker Tooth Fairy.
Oh, God, yeah. I forgot about that one. We won't touch on that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so shut off the light. I leave a note on the table. It's 11 p.m. His parents won't be home until midnight. I step out into the night. He won't be alone long. When I reach the end of the drive, I hear them. It sounds like wind chimes made of hollowed bones. Something flies past, grazing my cheek. My wisdom teeth ache. They came in straight, so I never had them removed. What a pity. The bone chimes sing and I pick up my pace. Despite the distance, I hear the song carried by the wind. Bones, bones, precious bones. Ribs, toes, finger bones. Cleave the skin like a peel. I want all of your bones. They're always so young. The end.
That's spooky. That sounds like something that would be in those like scary stories you tell in the dark.
Yes, very much, which will come into play later, actually, ironically. But I did print off a D&D sheet of the Bone Fairy for you.
Creepy.
So you can maybe peruse it and tell me what you think of this creature.
All right, we got an armor class of 15. So, and that's your natural armor. So that's actually pretty decent. So you need to roll, like if the average person's like weapon is like +4 or 5, you need to roll at least a 10 to even hit these guys.
Yeah. They're sturdy.
Yeah, they are definitely sturdy with 110 hit points to take down if you're not adjusting it for your party's skill level. Challenge level, CR level 5. Yeah, that's bone tear. Oh my goodness. So you could potentially lose your right hand, right foot, right arm, right leg, or left leg, depending on what the bone fairy rolls.
Yep.
If you fail your dex saves on these guys.
Yep.
Oh no, a strength saving throw. Lovely.
So I'm guessing you won't be appreciative that I'm giving this to Kane?
No!
But look at these creepy mofos.
Yeah.
That face is haunting.
On the plus side, right now, there is no way that this fits into the lore of the world that we're in right now. But our next
your next one,
it's spot on.
Well, you're welcome.
I might be hiding this from him.
I have more copies.
Oh dear. Don't threaten me.
But yeah, that is the Bone Fairy. Creepy, huh?
Very creepy. Yeah, just the idea of like putting your teeth under your pillow. And
it's creepy. I've always thought of tooth fairies as just genuinely unnerving.
Why is it that a lot of the children's folklore stories have to do with someone coming into your house
and
terrifying. Leaving you something?
It's
Santa Claus coming into your house, leaving you things. Tooth Fairy coming into your house, leaving you things. Easter Bunny, even.
I don't like it.
Why are these things coming into my house?
I don't want things in
I
it.
don't care if they're leaving me presents. What in the world you got for me today?
Well, I again connected my what in the world to our tarot card with the idea of the Fool. So I have for you 13 of the world's dumbest criminals. So we're going to travel the world, and they're just very short little blurbs. This one will not be as long as my previous section, but so they're the dumbest criminals in history. These stories come from 2 different articles. So the first one, it was written by Emma Ailes. It's on bbc.com, titled 13 of the World's Most Stupid Criminals. And the other article is 10 of the Stupidest Criminals in All Time, written by Cale Havervold on howstuffworks.com. So I just kind of took the most interesting ones. And yeah.
I love it.
I figured we'll just fool it up.
It's a nice little nod to one of our other favorite podcasts.
Yes.
Are some dumb-ass criminals.
Yes. A little nod to Spencer.
Yes.
And Madison. But
we love them. But this is our own time.
But I took inspiration from them, but took it my own way. So our first criminal is Andrew Hennels. Armed robber Andrew Hennels was caught after he boasted on Facebook about his plans to raid a supermarket. In his post, which included a selfie, a picture of a knife, and the words, quote, "Doing Tesco over." Police caught him 15 minutes later with the knife and 410 pounds in cash stolen from a Tesco in Kings Lynn, Norfolk. He was jailed for 4 years.
Oh boy.
So maybe if you're not gonna do a crime, don't post about it on Facebook first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even beforehand.
Yep. There's like something to warn them,
hey, maybe, yeah. Oh, that's silly.
Yep. All right. Next criminal. I'm gonna attempt to pronounce this name, but it is a mouthful.
I see.
Yes.
Lucas
Chosnowski, something like that. So a retired couple from Lancashire returned home from holiday in 2014 to discover a burglar fast asleep in their bed. Martin Holtley and Pat Dyson were amazed to find their intruder, Lucas, had done their dishes, washed his underwear, and even brought home some groceries.
Oh,
it's not the worst criminal. Ms. Dyson said their house wasn't too tidy when they went away, but Lucas, who had originally from Poland but moved to Leeds, had kindly tidied up. He did burn an old saucepan, but that happens, she added.
It happens. Someone breaks into your house, cleans up, and then burns a sauce pot. It happens.
Lucas, who was 28 at the time, admitted to the burglary and was given a 2-year conditional discharge in order to pay $2,000 in fines.
Oh.
But it gave me Goldilocks vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's he just needed a place to crash.
He just needed to crash. And then he was going to return the favor.
It's very kind.
I wonder if he intended to leave before they got back and then
fell asleep.
That's
my guess as well. Mm-hmm. All right. Our next criminal is actually a duo. We have Rhys Owens-Jones and Carrie Mules, and we're going to travel to Wales.
Okay.
So 2 Welsh tourists landed themselves in court in 2012 after they got drunk and stole a penguin named Dirk from SeaWorld, Australia.
Dirk! He went on a field trip.
Rhys Owens, who was 21 at the time, and Carrie Mules, who was 20, from South Wales, broke into the park on Queensland Gold Coast, swam with the dolphins, let off a fire extinguisher in the shark enclosure, and before making off with poor Dirk.
Dirk!
I just love that his name is Dirk.
Did they get back okay?
I'll get there. When they woke up, hungover, and with the flightless bird in their apartment, they tried their incompetent best, and that's in quotes, to care for him by feeding him and putting him in the shower. They later released Dirk into a canal, but were spotted by locals who called the police.
Yeah, let's just release this penguin into a random...
Yeah. The magistrate of the local area fined them 1,000 Australian dollars, which is about 637 pounds at the time, each, and told them to drink, quote, a little less vodka. Dirk was rescued and returned to SeaWorld unharmed.
Oh, good.
Local radio station, quote, man, they just did me wrong. They put a picture out that made me look like I was a Thundercat or James Brown on the run. I can't do that.
That makes you think of Flynn Rider from Tangled. And he's like, is that my face? You always get my nose wrong.
Yes. The Lehman police responded by saying, quote, we thank him for being helpful, but now we would appreciate it if he would come speak to us. He was later arrested in Florida.
Of Of course it was Florida.
Of course it was Florida. But hey, he made it from Ohio to Florida. That's a ways.
That's a trick.
Yep. Oh, good Lord.
That's funny.
Our next criminal is Gary Rao, a man who tried to rob a Glasgow bookmaker's while, quote, armed with a cucumber, came unstuck when he was tackled to the ground by an off-duty police officer.
Like I'm warning you, I have a cucumber. I'll turn you into a pickle.
Gary Rao brandished the vegetable, which was covered in a black sock, at a female coworker in Ladbrokes in Shettleston and demanded cash, which she refused. Rowe was then pinned down by the officer and arrested. He initially told the police it was all a, quote, joke before inquiring, am I getting in jail for this? He was indeed jailed at the High Court in Glasgow in 2014 after admitting assault with intent to rob.
Wow.
Next, we have James Allen, a hapless holdup of a newsagent in Abington, Oxfordshire, was captured on CCTV in 2012. During his attempted heist, James Allen removed his balaclava, fell over a drinks display, and then could not open the door to escape because he was pushing instead of pulling. The lady he had just held up with a toy gun had to come and open it for him. Not only that, but he'd also tried to rob the same shop 10 days earlier. Allen, then 29, was sentenced to 3 years in prison for the offense shown in the video and 2 years for possession of a firearm or imitation firearm. Yep.
Just shaking my head.
Yep. Mm-hmm. You know those push-pull doors sometimes.
Those doors, man.
They get you. Yep. I love that the girl is just like, here.
You've inconvenienced me
just
enough.
go.
This is just painful.
Just go. Just go away. That's fair. Our next criminal is Derek Mosley. Planning is hugely important when trying to pull off a crime, and it is essential to the success of the act that every detail be well thought through in advance. But Derek Mosley didn't place very high importance on these things before he decided to rob a gun store armed with only a baseball bat. Seeing it was a gun shop, the manager pulled a gun on the would-be robber and kept him in the crosshairs until authorities arrived.
Drax.
Choices, man.
Choices.
Funny we mentioned Santa Claus earlier because our next criminal's name is Klaus.
Klaus.
Not Klaus Michelson of famed Originals and Vampire Diaries, but Klaus Schmidt. In August of 1995, a man in Berlin decided to rob a bank with a handgun. Now, this acted out like a pretty standard bank robbery until the teller asked him, do you need a bag? To which Schmidt responded, you're damn right it's a real gun. This made it obvious to the teller that the robber was deaf. With this new realization, they sounded the alarm, which he did not hear, notifying the police, while Schmidt was none the wiser. In the funny twist, Schmidt later sued the bank for apparent abuse of his disability. I thought you'd appreciate that one.
Yep. Oh my God.
Oh, next up, we have James Blackenship, which is a great name, good pirate name.
Yeah.
I feel, you know. While attempting to break into and rob his own mother's home during broad daylight, James Blackenship got spooked and went to hide in the crawl space. When apprehended by police, Blackenship was extremely stunned because he didn't think it was possible to be arrested for burglary during the day. That's right.
What?
This guy thought he couldn't be arrested for burglary because it wasn't nighttime.
Like, sir, the reason why most burglaries happen at night is because you can't be seen as well.
Well,
the daylight makes it easier for you to see.
So we're just holding true to that.
He's on point for that category.
He's taken that one of those top places for sure.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Next, we have the final one. Mr. Albert Bailey. In 2010, Bailey and an unarmed juvenile accomplice decided to rob a bank in Fairfield, Connecticut. But in an attempt to speed up the process of the crime, Bailey called the bank in advance to let them know they were coming to rob it. His obvious intent was to give the bank plenty of time to get the money ready so he could simply pick it up and leave quickly. Of course, the bank decided to call the authorities and notify them of the robber's arrival, and the two men were arrested by police without incident.
That was the quickest crime ever solved.
So there you have it. A few dumb criminals. I figured it was a good
these guys
handoff from the creepy ass creature feature.
Yes, that was good. Clearly, these people did not take their Flintstone vitamins growing up.
They didn't take something, or maybe took a little too much of something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You never know.
Oh,
All right. Where are we headed for your
that is
what
funny.
in the world?
So I have kind of a mishmash. I have a little bit of a longer story, so therefore I am smushing it together, my what in the world and my spooky spotlight, because we have a murder mystery on our hands that
Ooh, I love a
is
good murder mystery.
still unsolved.
Ooh, I
It
love
involves
Call me up Unsolved Mysteries, man. I grew up with that show.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it involves 5 people disappearing,
All right.
4 bodies being found,
Ooh,
and 1 still at large.
interesting.
Yes. So we'll be exploring this. This is gonna be my 2-topic crossover.
All right.
A little bit, because I feel like it touches base on both, like what in the world happened, and this is just kind of spooky what's going on with this. Spooky. Alrighty. So on February 24th, 1978, so almost 50 years ago,
All right.
5 men from Yuba City, California, Jackie Hewitt, Bill Sterling, Jack Madruga, Ted Weiler, and Gary Mathias made plans to go to a college basketball game in Chico, California. The men, who all struggled with mild developmental disabilities or psychiatric conditions of some sort, were fondly called the boys by their loved ones. They were all super close friends and hung out like together all the time. So they were just the boys. It was very cute. Soon, however, though, they became known to the nation as the Yuba County 5.
Ooh.
Surveillance footage from a convenience store captured the group purchasing snacks and drinks after the basketball game. It was likely the last time anyone saw them alive.
That is so unnerving.
After a days-long search, police located Jack Madruga's car stuck in a snowbank on a remote road in the Plumas National Forest, far off the route the men were supposed to be traveling between Chico and Yuba City. However, there was no sign of the friends. It wasn't until the snow melted months later that their fates would be revealed.
Interesting.
So that's kind of a brief overview. So we'll kind of dive into the specifics of what was going on beforehand and the investigation.
Okay.
After.
I am fully invested.
So, jumping forward to June of 1978. So this is five months after February.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, February.
March, April, May, June. 4 months.
4 months. The 4 bodies of the Yuba County 5 were discovered in the forest, scattered within a 20-mile radius of the car. The remains of Gary Mathias were never found. And to this day, no one has any idea what has happened to the young men or why they were in the forest to begin with. Jackie Hewitt, Bill Sterling, Jack Madruga, Ted Weiler, and Gary Mathias were 5 men from Yuba City, California, who ranged from age 24 to 32. As I mentioned before, they all dealt with mild disabilities and lived at home with their families, but were independent enough to spend time on their own and take short trips. Madruga had a Mercedes Montego that he often drove the group around in. They all played together on a local basketball team at the Yuba City Vocational Recreational Center, and they were looking forward to participating in a tournament hosted by the Special Olympics in Sacramento on February 25th per Historic Mysteries. The winners of this competition would receive a week-long trip to Los Angeles, and they were determined to bring home the prize. However, the night before the tournament, they had another basketball game to attend. The men climbed into Madruga's Mercedes and drove 50 miles to California State University at Chico to watch the team play against UC Davis. After the game, they stopped at a convenience store and stocked up on candy and chocolate milk for the ride home. Bold choice.
Solid choice.
Solid
also.
choice.
Like, I love a good chocolate milk on the road.
I wonder if it was like Yoo-hoo or something like that.
I mean, also a solid. Yoo-hoo, it's hit or miss. Sometimes I'm down for a Yoo-hoo. Sometimes I'm not interested.
It just kind of depends.
But candy and chocolate milk, I approve of these choices.
I also approve. A witness saw them drive off, headed in the direction of Yuba City, but they never made it back. The next morning, the men's parents noticed that their sons had not returned home. They weren't the type to stay out all night, and they wouldn't have willingly missed their basketball tournament. Madruga's mother called the police, and the search for the Yuba County Five began. There was no sign of the men between Chico and Yuba City. By pure luck, a U.S. Forest Service ranger happened upon Madruga's car stuck in a snowbank in the Plymouth National Forest on February 27th. The remote road was nearly 50 miles in the opposite direction of the route the men should have been traveling. Yeah, so like
Interesting.
completely off the trail. And I have a map I can show you.
Very interesting.
Like where they were going and
where they
found it.
Huh.
Yeah, very, very freaky. So here is Yuba City.
Okay.
This is Chico. So they were supposed to be heading back home towards Yuba City.
Yeah.
Their car was found up here.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's like
way off kilter.
Way
like
off
they
course.
took like a full left turn the wrong way. Because it's basically a straight shot from Chico down to Yuba.
Yeah, there's like one slight turn.
Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering, like maybe around here, this is like about where they were seen stopping to
something happened.
Gas. Something happened around here that either they missed their turn and maybe they got stuck.
I don't know.
But I don't know what would get them all the way up.
Yeah, that's
here.
like way out of the way.
It's very, very far off.
You're not going to drive that far after missing your turn and like, oh, maybe we took the wrong. You'd figure it out.
Figure it out real quick. So besides the car, though, there was no evidence that the men had been in the area.
Interesting.
It didn't even seem that they tried to move the vehicle, although 5 grown men should have easily been able to lift it from the bank. Per the Washington Post, the car still had a quarter tank of gas, and there were several maps in the glove compartment. The keys, however, were gone.
Huh.
Police immediately began the search of the surrounding woods, but a brutal winter storm forced them to halt operations. Then a man named Joseph Scones came forward with a bizarre story about the night of the 24th. So this man kind of gives some insight, but it's also a little weird, which I'll get into the details on. So you can draw. I'm curious what you think of this eyewitnesses.
I will turn on my true crime hat.
Yes.
And we'll see.
Yes, we shall.
We're pretty good at solving these things.
We're pretty good. So according to the Crime Wire, Scones had been driving on the same remote road to check on his cabin in the forest when he also got stuck in a snowbank. He then suffered a heart attack while trying to free his vehicle and collapsed in pain, unable to move.
Jesus.
Yeah. For any gentleman over the age of 50, when it's snowing, do not lift your arms over your head, because that repetitive motion is actually what causes you to have a heart attack, exerting yourself like over and over by having like repetitive strenuous motion when you're not like conditioned to it. That's why so many like older men have heart attacks shoveling snow.
That's wild.
Because of like the sudden strenuous activity you are exerting.
Okay.
So small movements, no extraneous over the head movements.
Okay then.
That's my PSA.
Good to know. Dr. Carson has spoken.
Yes. All right. Around 11:30 p.m., he noticed headlights on the road. He claimed that several men got out of a car along with a woman who was holding a baby. He called for help, and the group stopped talking and then disappeared. Scones said he saw flashlight beams again about 2 hours later, but no one ever came to his assistance. When Scones recovered enough to attempt to walk down the mountain for help, Madruga's car was in the spot where he'd seen the group of men the night before. It's unclear if Scones actually saw the Yuba County Five, if they really had a woman and a baby with them, or if he'd simply imagined the entire encounter in a pain-induced daze. His story only added to the mystery surrounding the case. However, it was all the investigators had to work with, at least until the snow melted in the spring. Trails of Plymouth National Forest came across a Forest Service trailer in the woods 20 miles from where Madruga's car had been discovered. Curious, they opened the door to explore and were greeted with a grisly scene.
Ooh.
The body of Ted Weyer was stretched out on a bed in the trailer. He was wrapped in sheets and his feet were severely frostbitten. Weyer's body was emaciated, and the length of his beard suggested he had been alive for at least 2 or 3 months after disappearing.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Here's a picture of the trailer where his body was found.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. This is like one of those random little like trailers they just plop in the
Yeah, it's
woods.
just like a
Usually like
little.
national forests, like rangers will go out there like if
Yeah.
they're doing like scopes for
And
something for like
I
animals and
think that,
things.
yeah, they use them a lot for like, oh, if they're like caught in a storm and need a shelter, like they
Mm-hmm.
have specific. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Oddly,
Interesting.
oddly though, Weyer had broken into the trailer. He hadn't opened a locker that was in the shed that contained enough food to feed all 5 men for more than a year.
Interesting.
Nor had he used the matches, fuel, or propane tank located in another shed that was next door to keep the trailer warm. It seemed he'd simply spent months waiting to die. Like, what was going on for this poor man?
But
I wonder.
he had to have done something because you will die of dehydration after like 3 to 4 days.
Right.
And you will die of starvation after 40.
Right.
So like if he was alive for months, he was eating and drinking something.
Mm-hmm. Like he had to have done something to survive that long, because it's from what it looked like with his body, it seemed that he had lived longer than that span of time from when he disappeared to when he passed away.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks maybe he made his way to the trailer and his feet were just so frostbitten and he was so exhausted
Couldn't physically
died. And I know sometimes after you pass away and you start to your skin gets taut, so then your hair
look more
will
drawn
look
out.
like it's longer. So I'm wondering if maybe
possible.
that's a piece of
it,
that he just got there and was just so exhausted.
And was so already injured and hypothermic, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Probably delusional if he was hypothermic and hungry and cold and thirsty and
yeah, so many things.
That makes sense to me.
So many things could have happened. So then the next day, investigators found the remains of Jack Madruga and Bill Sterling in the woods several miles away. Animals had eaten away at their bodies.
That makes sense.
Yeah. It was unclear if the men had ever reached the trailer. Shortly after, Jackie Hewitt's shoes and spine were discovered just 2 miles away from the trailer, and his skull was located 100 yards away.
Probably scavenged by animals.
Yep.
Yeah.
More
coyotes and mountain lions and wolves and they'll scatter bones all over the place.
Oh yeah, they're ones that will like
even
take. Yeah, coyotes. They're ones that will like take their pieces and like hide them in spots.
Yeah,
like they're like chipmunks in a way. Yeah, it's funny, but
I do love a chipmunk.
I do love a chipmunk.
We almost had a chipmunk in our cabin tonight.
Naturally, the men's families had countless questions about the discovery. How did they get there? Why did they leave their car? But there was one question that overshadowed them all. Where was Gary Mathias?
Yeah.
Where is Gary? The remains of Gary Mathias were never found. To this day, Mathias's body has never been found. His sneakers, however, were discovered in the trailer, suggesting he had been inside at some point, but no other trace of him has ever turned up. Here's a picture of him from around the time he disappeared.
Interesting.
Yeah. What I looked for all the time I was up there were his glasses, Mathias's father told the Washington Post. I didn't think a bear would eat that.
Valid.
Common sense thinking. I think a good thing to
That's a valid thought, I think.
Yeah. Regarding the case, John Thompson, a special agent from the California Department of Justice, stated, "No explanations and 1,000 leads. Every day you've got 1,000 leads." Investigators were unable to find evidence that a woman and a baby were ever on the mountain road the night of the Yuba County Five disappeared. Regardless, the men's family members remained steadfast in their belief that something nefarious occurred that evening. There was some force that made them go up there, said Jack Madruga's mother, Mabel. They wouldn't have fled off in the woods like a bunch of quail. We know good and well that somebody made them do it. We can't visualize someone getting the upper hand on those 5 men, but we know it must have been. They seen something at that game at the parking lot, said Ted Wheeler's sister-in-law, hypothesizing that somebody killed the men to cover up a crime. They might have seen it and didn't even realize they seen it. To this day, the mystery of the Yuba County Five remains unsolved. This presents a frustrating dilemma. Investigators cannot prove a criminal act took place that night, but they cannot explain what happened if one did not. According to San Francisco Chronicle, the case of the Yuba County Five is still active and continues to haunt the Yuba County Police more than 40 years later. In the words of Jack Beecham, the Yuba County undersheriff at the time of the disappearance, the incident remains bizarre as hell.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I have two theories.
Mm-hmm.
Theory number one is a little less creepy.
Mm-hmm.
These were men who were described as perhaps having some developmental struggles.
Mm-hmm.
If it was snowy, maybe they got turned around, car stranded, for whatever reason, they couldn't figure out a way to get unstuck, and they started walking.
Yeah. And just
got stuck on a mountain in the winter in a bad storm. They said there was a storm shortly after.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing this is my theory. Gary perished first.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps had better shoes, more equipped for the winter than the gentleman whose feet were frostbite. So he took the shoes in an attempt to continue on.
Oh.
Then the other three succumb to the elements along the way.
And everybody's left behind, so then
their body's left behind. And Gary's body succumbed to animal, enjoyment. And they've scattered. I mean, bones get scattered.
Remains get scattered. Clothing deteriorates over time.
An eagle could have picked up something and dropped it in a river, or a lake. And then the last gentleman makes it to the service station, but it succumbs to his injuries.
Yeah.
That's my best theory. Or, if we want to think more sinister, someone noticed them at the gas station, was aware enough that they were perhaps impressionable young men, and took advantage, attempted to coerce them to maybe, oh, hey, I need a ride. Can you drop me out? And then maybe something went bad in the car. One of them tried to fight for the wheel, and they went off the road and then followed. But the fact that there wasn't any signs of other people makes me think this was just an accident.
Yeah.
And that they just succumbed to the elements. I don't know exactly what their disabilities were, what they entailed, but if they're not, someone who has their full cognizant abilities, maybe just don't understand or comprehend how to properly survive in the wilderness. And nature is a bitch.
It is. Yeah. Some of the articles I was reading over this, their degrees of their mental or physical capabilities, it varied. And also we have to keep in mind that this is in the 70s, where
we don't fully understand or
even accurately describe mental illnesses. Where one of them, I believe it was Weyers, that he was more just socially awkward and just was really, really shy.
Yeah.
And once he was comfortable with the setting, he functioned
probably autistic.
Yeah. So probably just a little on the autism spectrum.
Yeah.
Which is not debilitating.
No,
if you
not
allow
at all.
someone to give the right resources.
Well, and wasn't he the one that made it to the thing?
Yep.
So maybe he was the more cognitively capable of the group and kind of forged on. But I mean, there's animals. If it was snowing and the weather was wet and cold, hypothermia can kill you very quickly in those situations. So
Absolutely.
I would venture a guess that they just succumbed to the elements and animals did the rest.
Yeah, especially that Whaler's body didn't have any others. Nothing was mentioned that there was any other injuries. No foul play.
No signs of trauma.
No signs of trauma other than the frostbite
and fit, which if you're walking through a snowstorm, your feet are going to get frostbite first because they're wet and they're cold.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. That's what I'm going to go with.
So hopefully one day
maybe one day we'll know.
Some forms of answers will come about. Maybe they'll find oh, whose body was it? It was
Gary.
They'll find Matthias's body, and
yeah,
maybe some conclusions can be drawn from that.
Maybe we'll never know.
Maybe we'll never know. It's always so tricky when there's no survivors.
Yeah, and there's just not really, well, and it's such an old case that, I mean, evidence collection back then was minimal at best. This is pre like digitization of forensics.
Yep.
So it's,
and not everyone had
cold cases that old very rarely get solved.
Yeah.
Unless they're on the cusp of the era where they were starting to take like blood samples and hair samples, because then, even though yes, they didn't have the like equipment to do DNA and stuff back then.
But it wasn't standard practice.
It wasn't standard practice either. But we can, if it has DNA still, we can then use modern day practices. But yeah, cold cases that old, unlikely.
Yeah. And ones like these, it's really hard to like conclude anything when they were just out in the wilderness. There's not really anything else to go off of. Yeah. So that's my what in the world and my spooky spotlight.
All wrapped in
disappearance of 5 men, and we don't know what in the world happened to them.
And we may never know.
Probably never know.
Creepy. Well, we're gonna stay with the spooky.
Spooky.
And this is not very loosely tied to the tarot card. I'm more focused on knowing the fact that we were going to be camping when we did this. So my spooky spotlight is going to lean into the camping atmosphere. And what is spookier than a classic campfire legend? For as long as people have gathered around bonfires, they have told tales. Some legends date back beyond the written word. Stories passed down the old way through tradition and word of mouth. Stories passed from generation to generation. And one of these stories is the most infamous campfire ghost story of them all, the vanishing hitchhiker.
Okay.
So I'm going to read you the most common version of the vanishing hitchhiker. And then we're going to get into a little history on maybe where this story came from.
Okay.
And some kind of tie-ins to pop culture and things like that.
Fun.
All right. So the OG vanishing hitchhiker story goes like this. On a chilly autumn evening in 1955 in rural North Carolina, a young man named Daniel was driving home from a late shift at the factory. The narrow, winding road was poorly lit, and thick fog hung over the fields. As he rounded a bend, he saw a figure standing by the roadside, thumb outstretched. It was a young woman, her face pale and frightened, dressed in a thin white dress inappropriate for cold weather. Feeling a surge of sympathy, Daniel pulled over. The woman climbed to the back seat without a word. She was shivering, and he could see her breath in the cold air. "Where are you headed?" he asked, glancing at her in his rearview mirror. She stared back at him with wide, haunted eyes and quietly murmured an address in town. Daniel tried to make conversation, but the woman remained silent, her eyes fixed on the road ahead. After a few miles, they reached the address she had given. It was an old, decrepit house that looked abandoned. Daniel turned to tell her that they had arrived, but the back seat was empty. The woman had vanished without a trace.
Spooky.
Perplexed and unsettled, Daniel got out of the car and knocked on the door of the house. After a few moments, an elderly woman answered. "Can I help you?" she asked, eyeing him warily. Daniel explained what had happened, described the young woman in detail. The old woman's face paled. "That was my daughter," she said softly. "She died in a car accident on this very road 20 years ago. People say she still tries to find her way home."
Aww.
Shivers ran down Daniel's spine as he realized he had encountered the legendary vanishing hitchhiker. The story had always been a local ghost tale, but now he knew it to be true. He got back in his car. The seat where the young woman had sat was now icy cold, and he drove away, the haunting memory of her empty, sorrowful eyes lingering in his mind forever.
Oh, she just wants to go home.
She wants to go home. The vanishing hitchhiker is an urban legend in which people traveling by vehicle meet with or are accompanied by a hitchhiker who subsequently vanishes without explanation, often from the moving vehicle itself. Public knowledge of this story expanded greatly after the 1981 publication of John Harold Brunvard's nonfiction book, quote, The Vanishing Hitchhiker. In his book, Brunvard suggests that the story can be traced as far back as the 1870s. But similar stories have been reported for centuries across the world throughout England, Ethiopia, Korea, France, South Africa, Tsarist Russia, and America, as well as specifically quite common among Chinese Americans and those of the Ozark Mountains. What was probably the first vanishing hitchhiker legend can be found in the 400-year-old manuscript Om the tek och vinder som förgång the liturgisk ovanställd, and the first American to be recognized by the Vatican as a saint.
Aw.
Cabrini founded the Missionary Sisters of the Sacred Heart, a religious institute that today provides education, healthcare, and other services to the poor in 15 different nations.
Oh, yeah.
During her lifetime, Cabrini established 67 schools, orphanages, and other social service institutions in Italy, the United States, and other nations, and became revered and an influential figure in the Catholic hierarchy in both the United States and in Rome. Outside of just being creepy, many scholars also consider this tale to have some serious undertones of purity culture, perhaps why the mother is considered as the representative. Looking at the structure of the stories, women being picked up is often said to be in flimsy clothing, causing her to borrow a jacket or to seek shelter. The clothing later serves as a proof of kind of the change. In a lot of these stories, she'll have left behind a jacket or a book or some article of something to prove that she was there. Some often interpret this light, often white, garb to be a burial shroud, alluding to her death, but others view it as a symbol of purity, i.e. a white dress, meaning like virginal stuff. The car is perceived as a phallic symbol, and the man driving it is literally picking her up. So looking at the story through a puritanical lens, they would say that, this is sort of a omen to any girl, saying that if you'd allow yourself to be picked up, you might have a loose moral fiber, and that perhaps, that alludes.
Clutch my pearls.
Oh, clutch your pearls. But that, it's a warning of like, don't get in a stranger's car, be safe, kind of thing like that.
Don't be foolish.
Yes. So there are many notable examples of the vanishing hitchhiker legend. We have in 1952, we have the Return to Glenaskal, a short film starring Orson Welles, which centers around the Romanian version of the story. In 1959, the Twilight Zone episode The Hitchhiker focuses on a woman being followed in her car by a ghost. She believes he wants to kill her, but then discovers he's been trying to tell her she is already dead. Oh! In 1962, Bees Saw Bad is a Bollywood film which has a scene where a man gives a ride to a young woman on a dark, stormy night. She's withdrawn and vague the entire trip before asking to be dropped by a gate. The driver responds, "But that's a cemetery." She smiles, gets out of the car, and walks into the cemetery. The gate automatically opens for her. In 1965, there's a song called Lori, in which the singer meets a girl at a dance, takes her home, and loans her his sweater. But when he goes back to retrieve the sweater, the father answers the door and says she had died a year ago. Ooh. In 1966, another song by a country singer called Bringing Mary Home has the lyrics, 13 years ago today in a wreck just down the road, our darling Mary lost her life and we miss her so. So thank you for your trouble and the kindness you have shown. You're the 13th one who's been bringing my Mary home. Oh. In 1967, Phantom 309 by Red Sovine is a song in which the singer catches a ride with a trucker. When the driver drops them off at a nearby truck stop, he stops to ask him to tell the truck stop crowd who sent him. The crowd goes silent in shock. One patron explains that the driver died crashing his rig to save a group of teenagers who he hadn't seen in time to stop after toppling down a hill. In 1985, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Yep, that's where we're going. The driver, Large Marge, is actually a ghost. When Pee-wee gets to his truck stop and says, "Large Marge sent me," the staff explains she had died in a horrific accident.
Oh.
In 1987, Creepshow 2 has a story where a woman accidentally runs down a hitchhiker. When she decides to drive off, instead of helping him or calling for aid, he hugs her all the way home. 2003, Gothica uses a car accident version of The Vanishing Hitchhiker in its storyline. And to top it all off, the pièce de résistance. In 2007, the supernatural episode Roadkill tells a story from the ghost's point of view. But also, which they missed in here, the very first episode of Supernatural alludes to a woman in white, which is often tied into the story of the vanishing hitchhiker or La Llorona.
And she just wants to go home.
She wants to go home. In fact, she tries to make them take her home, and then they do, and she regrets it. Like, I'll take you home, all right, woman. But yeah. So that is the most well-known, most popular ghost campfire story of all time.
Very cool.
And on par. Shall we get into our bonus content?
Yes.
All right. Would you like the personal story first or the update first?
Ooh. Let's do the update.
All right. Well, I've got an update. All right. If you've been listening for some time, you may have heard us talk about an infamous doll a time or two.
Yep.
Carson covered her, 3 episodes ago?
Yep. Original cover was 3
we had an
episodes
update
ago.
last episode about her handler passing away unexpectedly. Well,
I've got still been unconclusive.
Which is still inconclusive because they have not confirmed, they have not released the results of the autopsy as of yet. I do mention that in this story. Well, there's another Annabelle update.
Oh.
Have you heard about this?
I don't think I have, so this is new to me too.
So, I'm going to read you a article because Annabelle has new owners.
Oh boy.
The entirety of the Warrens' home and museum and all of their demonically possessed objects have been sold.
This is bad news bears.
To a very famous person.
Oh boy.
So I'm just going to read the article. This article is from Realtor.com, from their celebrity realtor section, and it goes as such. Famed comedian Matt Rife has become the proud new owner of a historic Connecticut museum and home, a purchase that has also sent him inheriting a very significant role as guardian of the infamous Annabelle doll, a sinister toy that has been at the center of much of paranormal interest since the 1970s.
Oh no. Oh boy.
Yes. Matt Rife has been in the news a lot lately.
Yes.
Between this and the ELF campaign, he's made himself quite the public name.
Oh yeah.
But regardless of what you think of Matt's talents or comedy choices,
there's some choices.
He is now in concurrence with another gentleman, which I'll talk about here in a second, the owner.
Okay.
So, Matt Rife, 29, took to Instagram to reveal his spine-tingling news, voicing his excitement at owning such an important piece of history, which had previously been owned by late paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, who ran the occult museum out of their dwelling for decades. However, the museum shut down in 2019 amid a number of zoning issues and has sat abandoned ever since. Until now, now that Rife and his close friend YouTube creator Elton Castee have stepped up to restore this piece of paranormal history. The comedian revealed that their purchase of the property not only secured them, quote, the most important and prominent piece of paranormal history in the world, but also granted them ownership of the Warrens' entire collection of occult memorabilia, including Annabelle.
Oh boy. I just see this before going super, super south, and at some point they're going to be like, hey, let's auction off some of these things.
I will get to that because there is a piece.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're thinking in the right direction. The comedian continued to say, I have officially purchased Ed and Lorraine Warren's home and the occult museum, including being the legal guardian for at least the next 5 years of the entire haunted collection, including Annabelle. The jokester did not reveal how much he paid for the dwelling, which is located in Monroe, Connecticut, and was the backdrop of over 30,000 paranormal investigations that inspired multiple horror films such as The Conjuring and the Amityville Horror. He assured fans that this was a smart purchase because he's a huge fan of the horror film, especially the ones including Annabelle.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Big difference between the films and the doll itself, or the
group that what's his face?
The
Dan Rivera was in charge of.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Like the Paranormal Society.
The Paranormal Society, yes. Which that gets in here. He says that it is the most random hobby ever, but it is so effing cool. I should probably collect stamps or something. Might be a little safer.
No
dumbass.
No shit.
Castee
also
also
add you to the list of dumbass criminals.
It does. Yeah. Yep. Castee, who is the gentleman who's joined him in this choice, also chimed in saying that still can't believe we're the owners sitting on the porch now looking at all the photos of them at the house. We're going to make it the best paranormal investigation location on the planet. The infamous doll is thought to be haunted and is believed to have haunted 2 roommates in the 1970s by moving itself, leaving notes, and trying to choke one of them while they were sleeping. It was recently brought back into headlines when Dan Rivera, who hosted Paranormal Investigations and was part of the Devils on the Run tour, suddenly passed away in his hotel room. Rivera was traveling the country to showcase the doll as part of a tour. Despite the belief that the doll is responsible for his death, the doll was not in the room at the time of his passing, and police officers have revealed there was, quote, nothing unusual or suspicious about his death. So that's the most up-to-date information we have.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Spera, the Warrens' son-in-law and co-director of the organization, the New England Society for Psychic Research, or NESPR, is how they're referred to, revealed that the doll and the remainder of the Warrens' collection is only being leased to Rife, that he, quote, has no plans to ever sell the artifacts. So,
good. Okay, at least on that side of things is safe, because I was like worried, like, oh my god, this guy's gonna get in over his head, he's gonna get really greedy, and then he's gonna do something stupid and auction off these like supposed cursed and possessed items, and then we're just gonna release a bunch of evil into the world that the Warrens worked their lives and asses off to contain.
Yeah,
and keep safe.
When I saw this article pop up on Instagram, I had a few choice words. And then when I deep dove and found out that literally they plan to make this like a tourist attraction.
That's so disrespectful.
Yes, it's disrespectful. It's also incredibly irresponsible.
Yeah.
Like,
because you're going to get some dumbass that comes in and doesn't follow the rules that are in place, and it's going to try to either take something or mess around with things that do not need to be messed with.
Or you're going to provoke.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I fully respect that not everybody believes in the paranormal, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you do, you know that you don't provoke.
You don't
seek that stuff, especially the things that are believed to be haunted or cursed by malevolent spirits, or what Ed and Lorraine believed to be demons.
That's why they kept everything contained in their house, because they thought that was the safest place. Yes, at one point they did do like the
and they would take things on tour with them, but they did it in a safe way.
Safe and respectful, and they only did it in small controlled groups, where I imagine these guys are not going to do that.
Well, they're literally going to sell tickets to this house. And it's so, yeah. So I have a feeling we'll be having lots of updates from Annabelle in the coming years. So stay tuned.
She's probably not going to like having a bunch of random people in her house.
Well, we also know Annabelle likes to go after people who are not necessarily good people. And you know, taste in comedy aside, you know, we don't know if Matt Rife is that great of a person. You know, he's made a few
and we
jokes
that
bit. are borderline. Like, I understand dark comedy and I love dark humor. There's certain lines you don't cross. And he's crossed a few of those lines.
There's a difference between dark humor and making a joke to allow room to excuse
domestic violence.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on the whole elf thing, because that's a whole other thing. So yeah, it should be interesting to see what happens. I'm gonna keep following the story, and if anything else comes out, I'll update as we go. But good lord, that's where we're at.
Alrighty. Annabelle, the girl that just keeps on, the doll that just keeps giving.
She, you know,
where is Annabelle now these days?
She is at the Warrens Museum.
Okay, she's
in Connecticut. Home? Yep, she has been there since Dan's passing.
Okay, I couldn't remember seeing anything about where she was at after the tour was done. Like if she went back home, or if she was like,
I don't know that I've seen any like update information. I assume, I do know for sure, like she's back, because when he posted a picture with Annabelle.
Okay. So
in home. When it was in a couple of the articles I read where he'd taken pictures with Annabelle. So she's clearly there.
Yeah.
But like, I haven't heard anything about the continuation of the Devils on the Run tour with Annabelle. I know there was plans for more cities, but I don't know if
they probably
after Dan's passing, they either canceled or just hit pause for an undetermined amount of time.
Makes sense.
But yeah, that's
all right. Well, thanks for that update.
Yeah. Quite the update.
For sure.
It's the story that keeps on giving. She's just every month. It's just going to quickly become an Annabelle podcast.
Right?
At this rate. Yeah.
Works for me. Do you have some bonus content for us?
I do. I had a very interesting experience myself this week. And I'm going to leave it up to, you already know about most of it.
Yes.
But I'm going to leave it up to our listeners to determine, is this true crime or is this paranormal?
Ooh.
So to set the scene, this past weekend, I was volunteering both Saturday and Sunday evenings at a convention in town that a friend of mine is in charge of. And Sunday evening, I was there from 2 to 7, and I got home a little after, probably like 7:30-ish by the time I actually got home, like, because I stopped and got food on the way. I came home. I was tired and sore from being on my feet for several hours. And so I slipped off my shoes, put them next to the couch, sat down, watched some TV, ate my dinner, just vibed out for a couple of hours. And about 9:45-ish, I decided it was time to start getting ready for bed. I was getting tired. It was late. I got to work the next day. Let's just chill.
Yeah.
So I went in the bathroom. I did my business, washed my face, did my skincare, brushed my teeth, all the good things.
Getting all spot
I was
up.
in the bathroom for probably a solid like 10 to 15 minutes all in all. Like by the time I, changed into jammies and got, all the things. And went outside, shut all the lights off, turned off the TV, made sure the doors were locked. And I had realized when I went to lock the back door that I had left it unlocked while I was gone that day. Which I don't normally do, but on occasion I've forgotten to, because it's kind of a weird, like, because it's a sliding glass door, so it's got kind of a weird
it has like the
locking
weird little
plan. And so I've occasionally left it unlocked and never had an issue.
Yeah, you live in a really nice neighborhood.
I live in a very like suburb neighborhood. It's a very quiet neighborhood. It's primarily elderly people. It's generally a good, safe place to live, which is why the story is interesting. So I locked the back door thinking, oh, that was dumb. Should have locked that, whatever. And I go check the front door. It was locked already, so we're good. And I begin walking up the stairs. I made it to about the fourth or so stair from the top. And I realized that there's something on the landing at the top of my stairs. It is my shoes. The same shoes I had worn all day and taken off and left by the couch earlier that evening. They were placed as if someone had put them on the opposite feet and simply laid them next to each other. Perfectly placed at the top of the stairs.
Nope.
Yep. That was my reaction also. I froze, not gonna lie, stood on those stairs a solid 2 to 3 minutes, just frozen in fear, because my brain was racing of how the fuck do these shoes get up here? Because yes, I have dogs. However, my dogs in the entire 7 and 6 years of their life have never picked up a shoe.
Yeah.
They're
tiny.
tiny. I don't know that they physically could.
Your shoe is bigger than Nina.
Really, they are. And I don't know that they physically could carry a shoe across a room, let alone upstairs. And the fact that they were both up there and placed directly next to each other, like paired, just my blood went cold. So, being that I am a female who lives alone and was not risking nothing, I immediately just backed down the stairs, spoke as if nothing was wrong, and called the dogs down for a, quote, bedtime treat, and scooped them up, hauled my ass out to the car, and called the police. And then called this one over here, because the police took their dear sweet time getting there, and I was panicking. Full-on anxiety attack, and I just needed an adult, a human being, to speak to. So
that was a fun call. It's like
it was like 10:30 at night.
10:30 at night. I am almost about to fall asleep, and then I see your name pop up, and I almost didn't answer because I was like half asleep, and I was like, Kelly doesn't call me this late.
Kelly doesn't call, period.
Kelly doesn't call, period. So I'm grabbing the phone. And
I'm a text person for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. And you're like, I'm in a really weird situation. I'm like, so then alarm bells start going off in my brain. Like, I literally was in like fight mode. Like, I had grabbed my keys.
You were ready to run.
I grabbed my keys. I was getting my shoes on. I was like ready to wake Kane up,
rescue me.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
I was ready to wake Kane up and be like, hey, we gotta go get our girl.
Yep.
We were ready.
No, I was in the car. I was safe. So yeah, please show up. They were very kind. There's 3 of them. I told them, I said, I'm like, this is probably silly. I feel dumb, but like, I'm genuinely afraid. Like, I was shaking. I think they could tell. Like, I was literally just like vibrating. I was so shaken.
I would be shook. You were shook.
I was shooketh. So they very graciously offered to go in and just search the whole house. And they did, top to bottom. And then they came back out and they said, well, we didn't find anything. I see where the shoes are that you mentioned. And like, yes, that is an odd placement. But like, they're like, we didn't see anything. They're like, we didn't like crawl up in the crawl space of the attic. Cause I do have like a little like trap door and it's not a finished attic. So it's just like,
it's just like crawl space area.
It's just crawl space area. Like you can't even walk up there because if I know this now, but like there's like no supportive like flooring or anything.
Yeah. It's just like the weird like stucco. It's like the weird stucco stuff. And if you step on it, you fall through like Clark.
Yeah. So they didn't open it, but he said, he's like, it doesn't look, he's like, it looks like it's like lift up a little bit. And I said, well, it's usually a little bit like wonky because it's just an old house and it doesn't sit perfectly flat. So they told me they didn't find anything. I went inside, went upstairs, I grabbed the shoes, put them back where they belong, just because like, I don't want them up there for whatever reason.
That's not where they go.
And I went upstairs and again, because for my own sanity, I looked in every room. I looked under the beds. I checked. And I looked up at the crawl space and it just didn't look right. And just for my own sanity, I chose to like drive to my mom's, sleep somewhere else for the night. It was dark. It was like 11 o'clock at night by the time I like did all this. I was just too afraid to sleep in that house.
I don't blame it. I probably would have done that too. That's too spooky.
I was just like, I can't, like, even if it's just shaken me enough that I'm not going to sleep if I stay here. So went to my mom's, took the next day off work, had a lovely friend come and meet me at the house, who he used to be a police officer once upon a time. So he walked through with me, checked the crawl space. There is 0 signs that there was a human being in my house other than myself.
Good.
So I, at that point, had just chalked it up to weird ass coincidence. Probably nothing. Maybe paranormal because who knows?
Who knows?
It is a very old house. My house was built in 1891, so it's quite old. So who knows?
Who knows? But whatever's going on in that house, they need to get their shiz together.
Yeah. So I had again more or less accepted that like this was a weird coincidence. I'm moving on. My mom had come back up with me that day just to like give me peace of mind, give me another body in the house for that first night, just like moral support.
We love Mama Connie.
I love her. She is great. And so we went to bed. She slept in the guest room. I went to my room. She goes to bed quite a bit earlier than I do. So she went to bed about 9. I was laying in my bed, just kind of, flipping through the TikToks and playing on my phone until about a little after 10, when all of a sudden her light turns on. And I was like, oh, that was weird. Like, oh, maybe she forgot something. Maybe she has to go to the bathroom. And so I called out and I said, oh, did you forget something? And she didn't respond right away, which was weird. But then I was like, well, she's a little hard of hearing. Maybe she didn't hear me. Until she comes trotting around the corner, peeks her head in my room and said, I just got punched in the back of the neck.
What?
And I said, excuse me, what? And she goes, yeah, I was laying in bed and something tapped me in the back of the neck really hard. Can I sleep in here?
No.
Yeah.
No,
I wouldn't fucking sleep in there if I were you.
No, all that.
But yeah, so nothing has happened since. But interesting. So, my house might be haunted.
Sage, all up in that bitch.
I plan to sage every nook and cranny. But yeah, we'll keep you updated with that as well in case anything new transpires. I hope nothing new transpires. I hope I have nothing more to report.
Yeah, no more we don't want updates on this one.
But it's been a wild month.
Yeah, I would say so. Ah.
Yeah.
No thanks.
No thanks.
Yeah,
Pass.
I know my
Hard pass.
Ugh, that's just freaky. I know my ADHD ass would 100% take the shoes off and then forget that I left them there. So I would just chalk it up to my own self, and then my ass would be murdered, or
For
ghost,
me, it was.
I
think if I had gone upstairs at any point, I could have justified that. But I didn't go upstairs at all.
Mhm.
I stayed downstairs. I ate dinner. I watched TV on the couch. Like I didn't leave the couch until I went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then I was going upstairs, and that's what I was like. This is weird because I like had I gone upstairs, I'd been like, oh, maybe I forget, like maybe, but I don't take my shoes upstairs like ever.
Mm-hmm.
I wear slippers in the house. My shoes stay either by the couch or on the little shoe rack by the door.
Yep.
Like I've never worn my shoes upstairs.
That's so weird.
So I don't know.
I don't know.
Mystery.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Should we mystery up some cards?
Yes.
Figure out what our theme is for next month.
Yes.
Our final month of our first year as a podcast.
Woohoo!
Hopefully next month we will have details on our live that we're going to be doing for our 1 year anniversary.
Boop, 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 boop.
I think we got one hanging out in there still. Oh, I don't know if it matters. But...
Wheel of Fortune.
Ooh,
Probably
that's a
want
good
that in
one.
there.
That is a really good one. But yeah, we will have details next pod on the live we will be doing and when and where and how and all the good things. But for now, we are going to focus next month on the Seven of Swords.
Seven of Swords. Okay.
It has various meanings depending on the context of it, but often represents themes of deception, trickery, secrecy, and strategy.
Ooh.
It also can focus on strategic planning and independence.
Ooh.
It is an air element.
Okay, I've got some ideas cooking already.
Mhm.
This will be fun.
I think we could do,
I'm thinking some espionage, some
Yeah.
like spy stories,
Dun,
some maybe
dun,
some.
dun, 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 dun.
See you all
Next month.
This was Weird Shit Wednesday.
I've been Kelly.
I've been Carson. Oh, and that was the fire.
That was the
crackling.
fire crackling, which I'm going to go roast a marshmallow on.
Me too.
All right. Keep it weird, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.